Hey guys, welcome back to Monday Gun Day. I believe this is episode 23, maybe? I don't know, we've done a lot of these so far. But today we have a gun that I reviewed last year, but it is slightly modified. Not by us, by the factory actually. This is the Springfield Echelon Comp. This is brand new. We just got our hands on it. I think this is potentially a really cool gun. Back in 2023 when the Echelon first came out, we reviewed it and I scored it and went out and shot it, and I was pleasantly surprised. I think it's a cool gun, a good value. I think there's a lot of potential there. One of the notable features is the stainless steel chassis and trigger group. That is the internal part in this frame. That is the serialized part, so that's like the firearm, right? So a few companies have been doing that lately, like SIG with the P320, Zev with the OZ9, you know, and some others. And I think that's pretty cool because then that allows you to get different grip modules and things like that and truly get a very customizable, very modular weapon platform that you can do pretty much whatever you want with it. This is set up with the medium grip, the medium frame. It's the full size, but with the medium frame, it has adjustable back straps. It's just kind of like a middle ground as far as like the grip thickness and width and everything like that. Another cool thing is the optic system, and I touched on this in our previous video. Maybe we'll link it below if you want to get a little bit more in-depth overview of that. But it's a cool optic system. So right from the factory, it comes ready to mount up to 30 different red dot sights. But there's a cool feature where there's these pins, these inserts, and if you look at it up close, it looks like it's direct mounted to the slide, and that's because it pretty much is. There's these pins that go inside in these hole configurations that when you torque down the screws to attach the red dot, they actually give lateral pressure on these pins and make the dot super secure. So you're actually able to, without any adapter plates or anything like that, you're able to mount pretty much any red dot you want on there. So it helps it sit lower, which is super cool, and sit super securely. And then the most important thing about this, because this is the new version, is this chunk port right here at the top. It's a integrated comp cut out straight from the slide and the barrel below that, so you guys don't freak out. Guns unloaded. But this thing's pretty cool. So this is to help mitigate recoil. You guys know how ports and comps work. They've gained popularity recently, I feel like. They've been around forever, but a lot of companies are doing things like this straight from the factory. We reviewed the Springfield Hellcat Pro Comp, I believe is what it's called, a few months ago, and that was super impressive for a subcompact gun with a similar cutout in the slide and barrel here, this similar comp system, and it performs really well. So excited to get out and shoot this and see how it runs. So these chunk ports are little integrated comp things, these cuts in the slide, pretty popular. We're seeing those a lot. Shout out Vinny from Monsoon Tactical, because I think this is your fault. I think you've kind of put these on the map, gained a lot of popularity with stuff you're doing. So check out Monsoon Tactical, because I think a lot of companies are going towards this kind of thing without having to deal with, you know, threads and thread on comps and things like that. Saving length, still getting the recoil management from gas directed upward. That's pretty cool. A couple other things you might want to know: 17 round mags, pretty standard, but it also comes with an extended 20 round. I like that when you can get an extended magazine from the factory. MSRP is around $750. I think it's $749. So expect to be able to get it a little bit cheaper than that from a retailer or somewhere else. We offer holsters. This is the Axis Elite. This is what we'll be using at the range. I guess that's pretty much all we need to know about this. Let's take it out to the range and shoot it a little bit. Okay, we made it out to the range to shoot the Springfield Echelon ported version. So we will do our 3 standard tests. We'll be shooting out of an Axis Elite holster today. We got our A-zone up here and our makeshift cardboard situation, because somebody forgot the cardboard. That was me. It was me. But we got these A-zone pieces of paper So we'll shoot that. First drill is at 7 yards. It will be a bill drill. We'll run that back to back. Then we'll do a 3 reload 3 at 7 yards again. And then we will put up a B8 target and just shoot for accuracy back at 10 yards. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're at 7 yards, 21 feet. We're gonna run a couple bill drills over here. So with the bill drill, we are looking at getting a good sight picture, running that trigger, having good recoil management for 6 rounds. So the big upgrade with this Echelon is the big old chunk port action we got down there. So that should help with the recoil, help with follow-up shots, hopefully get some better splits and things like that. So are you ready? Yes. This shirt is okay, that's a 238. I threw one just to the right. That was my first shot. So we don't like that one, and it's kind of slow. So we'll try to speed it up this next run and get some better hits. Okay, that was a time of a 230, so not much faster. I could be quicker out of the holster, but I was able to keep all those in. Overall, this gun is pretty pleasant to shoot. Not a lot of recoil there, which is always nice. Could just probably use a little bit more time behind the gun to get these groups a little bit better, get the speed down. The biggest thing for me is probably getting that first shot out of the holster, getting that a little faster. But now we'll go back to 7 yards again and do a 3 reload 3. And so what we're looking at here is the kind of ergonomics, the controls of the gun, and a reload there. So there's no magwell here, just like the original Echelon. So we'll see how that goes. And then the slide release lever, the slide stop lever, whatever you want to call it, we'll be using that. So making sure the gun goes to slide lock when it's empty, and then sending the slide home with a fresh source there. So let's go back. Okay, 452 looked clean to me. Nothing special about that time or anything, just a nice easy run. The reload was fine. I didn't get hung up or anything on the grip of the gun. I will point out, because it seems like an appropriate time to do so, these slide release levers on the Echelon, I don't know where is a good angle to do that. So they're ambidextrous. They're kind of like a weird and interesting, let me see if I can. It's like a fairly sharp, small lever there. It's not the best. It's not the worst either, but if you can kind of see that, that's what it looks like. Not bad. I'm going to say not bad. So let's get this loaded back up. .454, so essentially the same time. That one should have been faster, but I did get hung up on the reload there. So clean run. Overall, liking this gun. This gun is nice to shoot, not bad, feels good. So we'll throw up a B8 and go to 10 yards and test accuracy. Okay, we got our official NRA B8 target up. Hope you like it. Okay, 30 feet, 10 yards. It's not that far. Should easily get them all in the 10 or X ring. Oops. Especially because we have a nice little red dot on there. Trijicon SRO direct mount to this slide, which is nice. 10 rounds, no time limit. Hopefully I'm not shaking too much because I'm so cold. Okay, easy 100 there. I could see all those hits. They're all in the X-ring. So this gun is, especially with that trigger, it's easy to shoot accurately. So pretty decent group right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm happy with that. It's to be expected shooting a red dot. A gun with a reasonable trigger and a red dot, you should be able to shoot it accurately, given, you know, your ammo's fine and everything like that. So that's great. The trigger, not bad. I'm not disappointed with the trigger. Got an empty gun there. Just want to show you real quick. Little bit of take up right there. Get to the wall, and it's just a little rolling break right there. I'm actually a fan of the rolling break. Kind of reminiscent of the early Glock days. But some people like a real crisp wall and a real just short, just crisp break. But it's just preference. I'm sure there will be a lot of aftermarket support for triggers for this gun, if there's not already. Regardless, it's fine trigger. We will head back to the armory now and give you a breakdown of all our scores and see how this stacks up with the other guns that we've reviewed. Okay guys, we made it back to the armory. That was a fun little range sesh with this, shooting in the cold and the wind. Performance personally was a little not up to my standard, but I blame the cold. We've been here in Utah in 100-degree weather for so long, and we just got blasted with like a 50-degree day, so I was not prepared. But nevertheless, this gun is awesome. I liked it. I was surprised. The comp works very well. This gun shoots well. It feels pretty good. There are some things that I had a little bit of a personal issue with, but nothing crazy. So let's get right into our scoring and go over cost first. Like I mentioned before, MSRP's $749. It's not crazy expensive, not super cheap though. I think for that price, you're getting a lot. We'll talk about value later, but I'm going to give that one a 7.8 for cost. I think it's overall a good price point. I think a lot of people could get into this handgun without much of an issue, and it's a good gun. Next up, we have Ergonomics, and I'm going to give that one an 8 out of 10. I think the ergonomics are good. They're not perfect. My biggest issue was the beaver tail back here. I have pretty big hands, and like I mentioned earlier, this is the medium frame with the medium back strap. I would like to experiment with the large frame and maybe a different back strap. But when I get real high and tight up in there to try to grip the gun and just burn it down, part of the beaver tail back here, these edges kind of on the side, they dig into your hand a little bit more than most guns. I found that to be a little uncomfortable on longer strings of fire and when I'm really gripping it tight. It's not a deal breaker, you know. And it'll be interesting to see if the other frames do the same thing. You might not even notice that or have that issue. I just have maybe big hands, and that knuckle, that thumb bone might be a little bit more prominent on me, causing issues. But I didn't get slide bite or anything, so that is great. But overall, I mean, ergonomics are good. Grip texture is nice. I think it could be a little bit more aggressive, but I mean, if you're going to carry it up against your stomach, it's probably not going to bother you too much. Trigger's good. The controls are good. It's got all ambi stuff. So like the slide release or slide lock lever, the mag release, it's all ambi. Good ergonomics there. You know, got aggressive slide cuts. Even this big cutout here in the back, if you're one of these guys that pulls from the back to rack to slide. So decent. Next up is trigger. We're giving this a score of a 7.3, and if you watch our old video on the standard Echelon, you'll notice that has improved. And I don't know if we just got lucky with this gun or maybe unlucky with the last one, but the trigger is better in this gun. Maybe over the year or so that the Echelon has been out, they've tweaked it or maybe improved it a little bit, but the trigger is significantly better. There's a good wall, not a lot of over travel, and it has this nice rolling break. It's very smooth. It's not super heavy. I don't know the estimated pull weight of this trigger, but it's got a nice wall and a nice rolling brake. It's really not gritty. There's no hiccups. There's no bumps in there. It's pretty smooth. So I like it. They definitely improved it. Could be better, but it's not bad. Moving on to bore axis, I'm giving this one an 8.1. I gave it an 8 last time, and it's the exact same this time. But I feel like an 8 might have been.
Sorry.
This is my score. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, so bore axis, yeah. Next up is sights. So I'm giving this a 7.5. The iron sights that come on this, I'm not a huge fan of. They're like a U notch in the back with a white line, white little U there, and like a yellow tritium front sight. Kind of big and blocky. Not a big fan of those, but what makes up for it is this optic system. And I think in 2024, if you're buying a strike-fired pistol like this, you're putting an optic on it. Who are we kidding? Like, that's what's going to happen. And if you don't, then you're behind the times. Get an optic. Do yourself a favor and throw an SRO in there or whatever you want. This optic system is super cool. I kind of briefly covered it before, but just the way they engineered it, I think is really cool, and it allows the optic to sit low on the slide there, which is a good thing, and very securely as well. You don't need adapter plates or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. For aftermarket support, this is getting a 7.7 out of 10, and that is because in the year or so that the Echelon has been in existence, there have been a lot of companies hop on the aftermarket train for it. They've realized that, just like with any gun, you know, on launch, there are some things you can improve, different pieces you can add, different things you can tweak. So there are mag extensions, mag wells, triggers, springs, you know, little back plates, tons of things, tons of options now. So in a short amount of time, a lot of companies have provided a lot of support for this gun, including Tier 1 concealed with holsters. Like I mentioned before, this is the Axis Elite holster, and we make specific Echelon products. So get yourself a good holster. Round capacity for this one is getting a score of a 7. It's pretty standard. Comes with a flush 17 round magazine, so 17 plus 1 in the chamber. A 20 round extended mag. I think it's pretty cool that it comes with an extended mag, but you know, your standard flush magazine only takes 17. So it's good, not great. Could be better, it could be worse. So getting a 7 for that one. Next up is a category that goes along with aftermarket support, and that is serviceability. So this gun is pretty easy to service, to field strip, to maintain, and with a lot of aftermarket support and it gaining popularity, there are a lot more parts and pieces available for it should you need it. Not a difficult gun to service, just like pretty much all striker fired pistols these days. They're pretty quick and easy to take down and keep clean, and they should run for a long time without cleaning them. So, okay, moving on to value. This is getting a score of 7.4. I think it is a good value, even though it doesn't come with a ton of stuff. Doesn't come with a lot of mags. A lot of companies are kind of stingy with mags these days. I would like every new gun to come with 4 mags at a minimum. Maybe 2 flush and 2 extended, something like that. This does not, but there's a lot of other cool things it comes with. So it does come with an extended one, that's nice. The optic system and the comp, and a pretty decent trigger. So all in all, I think it is a good value for $750 on the high end. Probably looking more at around 700 or just below from retailers. And last category is cool factor, our most subjective and controversial category. It's just kind of what we think about the guns that we review. I am giving this one an 8.9, which is a pretty high score, I think, for me. I think this gun's pretty cool. It has grown on me a lot. Like I said, I reviewed the standard one right when it came out last year. Wasn't super into it. I was surprised by how much I did like it, but overall wasn't amazing to me. This one shoots way better. It's got a better trigger. The integrated comp works well, and the way they cut it and everything, it's nice. The optic system, you know, there's a lot of really cool things about it. So if you're looking for a kind of do-it-all gun that you can still carry, this is a good value and it's a cool gun. As far as looks, you know, I think it looks pretty decent. Nothing too crazy or weird about it. If it looks cool and if you can shoot it well, that's pretty cool. So overall, this is a cool gun, and it is getting a total score of 77.3 out of 100. So if you check out our list of guns we reviewed, that's a pretty good score. I think it just edges out the new M&P metal carry comp, maybe by just a hair. That's my score. Let us know what you think about that, and let us know what you want to see from us in the future. If there's any other guns that we should review or take a look at or try to get our hands on, we might just consider it. Let us know if you get the opportunity to shoot one of these Echelon comps and how you like it. I think it was pretty cool. We appreciate you sticking around and watching, and be sure to share the video, like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell if you feel like it, and we'll catch you next time.